Look, Marcus, every job I go on, the BMS or BAS, if you're American, is just an absolute nightmare. Is this a broken process?
Oh, wait, hold on. Are you saying BMS for building management system, or BAS for building automation system, or EMS for energy management
So
system, or
actually, yeah,
EMS
let's
for...
clarify that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm a sort of like mid-Atlantic person. So if you're in the UK, everything is the BMS and
Oh, no.
most of the Middle East. And
Well,
if
Adam, I
you're
was
in
kidding with you,
America,
because basically, like, so there's FMS, there's this, there's
yeah,
EMS, there's EMIS, there's this, there's that. Then there's SCADA, but then SCADA could be part of it, but there's not. And then there's EIT, on and on and on. EIS, the Energy Information System. It goes on and on and on and on and on. People can literally argue with how many alphabet soup and
yeah,
basically like acronyms there are happening. So once again, back to the word controls, voodoo that you do, right? So
black
it's just like,
box.
oh yeah, and it doesn't matter what it is, JCI, Siemens, Train, the list goes on, right? And on and on and on. Okay, so everyone's like, oh, this system's better than that system. Honestly, they're all the same.
Yeah,
Okay, it always comes down to the controls contractor you're working with. It always comes down to the A team that they sell you, and then basically the D team that you end up with, right? And then basically it's whether or not you're working with someone who actually understands thermodynamics and psychometrics, and it actually understands energy systems and how they come together. If you are working with member owners when you're watching this, method procedure, basically, SOQs, and basically when you're bringing people in, ask the questions. Oh, by the way, hold on. Commissioning should be part of the beginning of the owners when they're choosing, because we're your rep. We should be in the room choosing CMARs, DBs, engineers, contractors. We should be helping you, sitting there asking questions, because on all the SOQs and RFQs, it's like, do you have, with choosing? Yes. But why is it we're always brought in after you choose everybody else? Doesn't make any sense. So, tangent. Okay. So, we can help with this process. But at the exact same time, you got to really have a delineation of what it is you're trying to do. What is you're trying to control? Remember, the more complicated the building has, the more the critical paths
yeah,
start to overlap, right? And then
correct.
you can remember bigger fabrication areas, semiconductors, data centers, laboratories. Oh my bejesus, right? It just gets more complicated, more pieces. And remember, one air handling unit can have 1,000 internal points, 1,000 binary values inside of it, right? And you'll pull over maybe 10, 15, 25. What do you want to monitor? What do you want to alarm? What do you want to fault? Is it an active alarm that shuts it off? Is it not an active alarm? Is it escalated? Is it not escalated? I mean, what extensions are trending? How far are they trending? Everybody, voodoo. You got to be really careful, and you got to have people who truly understand just one piece of equipment. Just understand one piece of equipment and then break it out, and then understand what you want to do with each piece of equipment. And
Yeah,
you got to have specs. Obviously, Division 25, integrated automation, very important. That's another one we've talked about, another area we can get into. But 22, 23, 26, 28, integrating them all, it gets so complicated, and that's why it's voodoo. But you just got to be able to break it down and say, what is it that we're trying to do? What is it we're trying to show? What is it we're actually wanting the building to perform to and monitor to? And when we remember, when we turn the building back over to the owner and the facility managers and the stakeholders, are they comfortable with it? Do they know what's going on? Are they going to basically just hit the nuisance alarms and silence them? Or are they going to get to them? Are you going to make them go to the roof and basically do a manual reset? I mean, if you have low flow on a chiller, is it going to stop it? If you have high stat, what are we going to do? Adam, I'm just going on and on and on. This is just part one of part 1,000 of this, but BAS, BMS, it's so beautiful and it's so simple and so complicated at the exact same time. But if you get it right, I mean, it could be a Ferrari or it could be a broken Ferrari.
My old riff is people say, I want a smart building. I say, have you got a BMS?
Oh,
You've got a smart building. You're just not using it, right? And there's a few reasons for that. Complexity is one of them. The fact that it's bringing in different things to it as well, like it might bring in an interface to the elevators from the lighting control. There's all these things that converge in here. No one owns it. But I think one of the big problems is path dependencies. Let's just say you're a big university campus, I don't know, and historically you've been a Johnson's campus,
yep.
right? It's really hard to move away from Johnson's at that point, right?
Oh my God. So it's just like once you have a JCI network, right? Because they're all going to be basically backnet this. They're all going to be talking. They're going to have basically the open internet. The protocols. Yes, right. But then again, that's a different highway than a Niagara. Different. When I say highways, networks, different
Yeah,
highways.
network, backbone. Yeah.
Yeah, everything runs on different areas, and everything is contained within different networks, right? So it's contained. You know what I mean? You're not gonna. You can make them work together. They're all gateways. Remember, gateways, controllers, JACEs, engines. These are all just words that basically have to be put in to make them work. But whenever you have this word integration, right, and you have different systems, of course they can work, right? But you're going to have a black box, and you're going to have to figure out how this channel comes into this one, how the baud rate comes into this one, Modbus, LAN, Ethernet. It can happen, and people are very, very smart people, and you pay them. And they actually do this, and you work together. You can make it all work. But when someone just says the word, you will integrate, someone's like, who? Right? You got to actually have that in the contract to what they're going to do. And you got to have people that actually know what they're doing to talk with people. Commissioning people like myself and others, there's a lot of us, right, that are really into the controls, and we're really into different SCADAs and the packages and how we can work together. And once you find teams within local and regional, areas, man, there's some really smart, good people out there that really want to do the right thing. And nobody really wants to basically do a change order. Not everybody's trying to basically buy a yacht that says, controls. Like if I ever saw a yacht that says BMS, I would, get upset, right? But there's some good
change
people.
order.
Well, I've seen that, but I mean,
you know what, to wrap this one up, again, it's complexity and path dependency that is an issue. And the answer is commissioning management and commissioning coordination from design through to end, right?
You got to know what the end result in, just like with ongoing commissioning, you got to know what the end result is to basically, remember, start with the end in mind. What are you trying to do? Don't do any more. Just do what you need to do. But remember, you need to have robustness built in, basically, or, resiliency, because you might have to change it in the future. So prepare for it. If you do not put that extra little spout out or this or that or a wire out, you're going to have to add it later. You add it later, it's 10x.
Yes.
Add it in the beginning, it's 1x.
There's a price per point, right? And that goes up exponentially as you go through the job.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So let's wrap that up there. But my advice to any owner is, I know you think the BMS is a controls black box and it's a specialist thing. It is, but there are ways to manage it and make sure that cost does not run away with you.